we'll start off with our next speaker, who is a speaker from Cisco, Tengku Shahrizam bin Tengku Sulaiman, who will be speaking on Cisco cybersecurity for the real world. The speaker will be speaking on cybersecurity, which is its current threats and impact on enterprise and organization. The speaker will also discuss on how Cisco is working to protect enterprise and organizations against these threats.
Thank you and good morning everyone. Okay, before I start my presentation, I would like to play the video on the current threats around the globe, especially on the internet today. Oh, can you see that? Okay, yeah, it's not showing. Alright, good morning everyone. Okay, my name is Tengku Shahrizam. I'm a security architect for Cisco System Malaysia. Alright, so today's session I will focus on the cyber security for the real world. From the previous video that I've just shown, right, it is actually to summarize how easy today for a hacker to penetrate into any system. Before I start, right, I just want to show you what kind of recognition that we get from the market. Just to let you know that we are one of the market leader in cybersecurity worldwide. Okay, and today's session is going to be focused on cybersecurity. Okay, in the video that I've shown earlier, it simulates the real environment, how easy for someone to run ransomware. Anybody here know what ransomware is? Anybody heard about ransomware? Right? The ransomware is a malware that once you penetrate into your system, they will steal your data and encrypt your data. Right? Once you encrypt your data, you won't be able to open the information that you save on your machine. In order for you to view this file again, you need to pay. You need to pay the sum of money to the person that actually encrypt your data. So this is called ransomware. From the name it's a ransom. You need to pay the ransom to get back your data. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that hacking is a business today. Right? It's not a script kiddies. Not only about anonymous who is politically motivated. People are doing this for money. Right? They know how to monetize hacking too for their own reason. Right? The lady in the video that I showed earlier, what she knows is only social engineering. She knows how to phish certain individuals so that those individuals gain the trust and happily click or open any attachment from an email. This kind of attack is the most successful attack today, phishing. Right? Why? It is very famous because it's very, very effective. In the security world, right? In the security world, the hackers always try to find the easiest way to get into the system. They don't really try to penetrate your firewall, your intrusion prevention system, or whatever system that you have actually placed in your network. They don't do that, not like in the movie. They always try to find the easiest way, which is actually gain the trust of the user. Why? Because humans are much easier to get tricked. Once you click, okay, on any URL link or open any attachment from these hackers, you will get compromised. And this kind of attack will lead to another attack. Right? First of all, we call it phishing. When someone sends email, you click on the link. That is phishing. The moment you click on the link, it will download certain files. Right? And this file will try to penetrate into your system. It doesn't do any damage yet. But what they do, once they get into your system, they do discovery. They do discovery things like, what are the vulnerabilities that your machine has that I can use as a backdoor. Right? Once they find it out, they download another file. Right? Once they download another file, right, just to penetrate into the vulnerability that I mentioned earlier. Right? So once they do that, they get a full control of the endpoint. Once they get a full control of the endpoint, what they do next? They can launch any attack. In fact, what they can do, they can use the infected machine, right, to attack another system. This is what commonly happens today. Right? Anybody heard about DDoS? Distributed Denial of Service. A massive traffic being sent by multiple endpoints or multiple systems in order to bring down network services to the victim. The attacker source are coming from legitimate users. That means they could come from your campus, they could come from your students, from your lecturers, from your administrators. But they themselves do not know their machine has been compromised, and their machine has attacked other systems in the network. Right? So that is distributed denial of service. Right? It is actually a continuity from the previous attack. That's one. The video I showed earlier is more damaging, something about ransomware. Right? First of all, ransomware is not only about paying the money. It's about the data. The data that you might get lost. If people can steal your data, meaning to say that they manage to get your confidential information. Okay, in that video I showed earlier, that lady, what she knows is to do phishing. She doesn't know how to hack into the system. She just used a file that created by a hacker. Just like what she said, I don't know how to hack. I just used a code that created by someone else, without knowing what are other impacts of that file. So her objective is just to get the ransom, right? Once the impacted victim paid the ransom to her, she's happy to give the decryption key. But what happened next is that the hackers who created the tools have gained other systems in the network and launched further attacks. You see, this is the real world of internet today. Right? That's why security today is very key to become business enabler. Application enabler. You look at the economy of the hacking activities itself. 1 trillion. When we say 1 trillion, meaning to say that the revenue coming from the hacktivism, right, on the hackers economy, is much, much bigger than any security vendor, including Cisco ourselves. They're making more money than us. See, whenever the motivation of any activity is originated from monetization, this will motivate them more to get into this business. To them, it's a business. To us, it's a hacking. The example that I've shown earlier is called APT, or Advanced Persistent Threats. Advanced persistent threats are very common nowadays that normally able to penetrate into your system. Regardless whether you have the best perimeter security system in the world, you probably have the best next generation firewall, you have the best next generation IPS, the best antivirus solution, the best anti-X malware, whatever things that you name it. But the APT somehow will get into the system. Why? The thing is about security, there is no 100% security. There is no absolute security. Right? Somehow, given the right time, for them, they will still be able to penetrate through. So the APT, Advanced Persistent Threat, normally will slip through your next generation firewall, your IPS, your antivirus, just name it, and get into your system. I'm not making this up. This is real. If an antivirus could not detect APT because it is not a virus, it's a legitimate file, okay, but hiding in that file, it hides certain applications that it used to hack. The spam campaign, we talked about the earlier video, right? Someone actually sending email through social media. How does the user, the victim, happily click on the link or view the attachment? Because it trusts the sender. And remember, in the video I showed earlier, that lady, by nature, is not a hacker. She is someone just someone that used the hacking tool to get ransomware into the victim's machine. Her specialty is social engineering. She does her own work on the social media like Facebook, Twitter, just to get some information on the user, right? So that she can impersonate that I am sending email from your boss, I'm sending email from your friend, I'm sending email from your family, right? So that you know that, so the victim will, oh yeah, I know this, I know her, right? So happily click, and that's her specialty. What needed for this to work is only to do a simple click, and it's gone. That's about it, right? But that video shows that anybody can hack today. ransomware itself is a market. I think ransomware is a bigger threat today to everybody, because ransomware hits directly on the end user. It can hit anybody. You cannot say that it doesn't happen to me yet, or it has never happened to me. Nobody wants to attack me because I'm nobody. You can't say that. Everybody has confidential data. Everybody has information, right? You have some kind of a secret information that you probably store in your machine. They use this bad against you. So most of people think that ransomware is new, because only lately we heard a lot about ransomware. As a matter of fact, it's not really new. It happened in the past. Back in 2001, the first ransomware detected was in 2001. But the question is, why only lately we heard a lot about ransomware? The evolution of the internet and the application itself. In the video earlier also showed something called Bitcoins. Have you heard about Bitcoins? It's another internet financial system, right? It's something like a token. When you go to the entertainment park, you know, you pay with some amount of money, you get some tokens, and you use the tokens to buy things or play things. Same thing here. You pay using the tokens. And why the attackers use this token? Because the tokens typically untraceable, right? The police officer or intelligence agency won't be able to track where the money goes to, who actually gets that. And this motivates the street criminals. Street criminal from physical criminal to internet criminal. Really? Why bother to, take risk robbing someone on the street if you can do it over the internet and get away with it? That is the reality today. So things about security is always about cat and mouse game. Who is faster, right? That is why we say that security can never be 100%. You secure today doesn't mean you secure tomorrow, right? If you're not secure tomorrow, doesn't mean that you'll be not secure forever. You'll make improvement to secure it. And then, the attacker will find another way. They always motivate with something else. So that is why security is never 100%. We call it silver bullet. Silver bullet meaning to say that one solution fits all. No such thing in the world today. Whenever we talk about security, what can we have? A firewall that does everything, that, once you have it, you configure, you can sleep tight at night, you just forget. But like I said earlier, right? The motivation of monetization. This actually creates a lot of new threats every day. So let's talk about the effectiveness of the security mitigation techniques today. Right? In order for us to effectively secure an environment, first of all, we need to know what kind of attack out there. What are the possible kind of attack that possibly get through the system? So we always talk about security effectiveness, meaning to say that if someone trying to penetrate your system, you must have a proper system that's able to detect and mitigate immediately. But the problem with the security effectiveness, there's always a gap, right? The gap with capabilities of the security solution itself. Again, the complexity. Because of there's no silver bullet, right? Many network systems today comprises of many components in the network. Multi-vendor environment. It increases the complexity. When the complexity increases, it reduces the security effectiveness. Because we must remember, who actually defends your network system? Yeah, your firewall, your products, right? The one that you have. But don't forget, behind those products, behind those high-tech products, there are human beings, there are people, the operation team. If the complexity increases, it will reduce the response time of your personnel. The goal for the effective security is this. It has to go linear. Complexity against capability. One thing to remember, traditional security isn't enough. I know that some of you probably think that, in our network, we probably have all the systems in place to defend any threat. But we must realize that today, in most IT environments, the landscape has changed. The landscape has changed through the mobility, the need to do work, not only in the campus, but also from home, from public network, and such. And most of the time, users get compromised not in the campus. They get compromised elsewhere, and they bring this compromised machine back into your network. And your network get impacted. You may think that, oh no, we have security system in place. No, ladies and gentlemen. Typically, security system placed at the perimeter level, meaning to say that it protects the network behind the internet. The traditional security only focus on the perimeter, trying to block any unwanted access from the internet to your network. But it does not prevent hacker to compromise from one machine to another machine within your network itself. And most of the successful security, about 90% of the compromise happen in the internal network, not coming from the internet. So first of all, we need to understand how the attack happened. Most of the time, let me take an example, like the previous video on the ransomware. Most of the time, people think that the moment someone reported there's a ransomware happens, then only they start to react. They start to find how the attack has been expanded to the network, right? And they try to mitigate this moment. And they think that the attack only happened when someone complains, or when they detect that something has been compromised. But as a matter of fact, the hacking was done way much earlier. This is a typical scenario, typical processes of the advanced persistent threat today. They do a lot of homework before they launch the attack. It's not a random attack. We call it a targeted attack. Meaning to say that they know exactly who they want to target in your organization. That is why they do all the research. One person cannot do this. The video that I showed earlier is just someone that's good in social engineering. And then they require someone that's good in coding, that knows how to penetrate into systems. When they combine this, they can make their dreams come true. The whole process of the cyber attack is shown here. Most of the time, we neglect the first three on the top of the patient zero. We neglect this because we only act when we realize there is a patient zero. Patient zero meaning to say that the first user or the first machine that we have detected to be compromised. Right? As a matter of fact, it happened way before that. So what you need to do, you need to have visibility. This is the real problem today. A lot of people say that, no, my system is secure. I never get hacked before. I don't need the solution. But the next question to you, how could you prove it? How could you prove your system has not been compromised? Right? You need to have visibility. Right? You cannot say that, oh, no one complained. Remember, the attack occurred way before that. Right? So when it happens, you need to have visibility. Things like, where does it come from? Who else actually infected? What is it doing in your system, and how do you stop it? You need to have all these answers ready, because the attack occurs very fast, right? In seconds. So we have solution feature called trajectory. Trajectory means to say that the ability to turn back the time, right? Something like a video recording to see what actually happens. If a malware outbreak happens in the system, it should be able to track where does it start. After that, where does it get impacted? Who else actually get compromised? And what kind of attack has launched the network? What is the impact? How do we target and things like that? These are the visibility that we need today. And in Cisco, we do provide this visibility. It's very key because the thing is, remember, traditional security is not good enough today. It may be good in the past, but it's not good today. Security is also about process. This attack continuum is the framework for us to defend against any security threats. We call it before, during, and after. Simply, it means before the attack, what can you do? What you typically do. During the attack, what can you do? What can you do better? Right? And another phase is called after the attack. After the attack, meaning to say that system managed to compromise, managed to get compromised for whatever reason, because we know there is no 100% security, right? But at least if the system is actually upgraded and able to detect the new threats, it can turn back the time and tell you that, yeah, you know, we thought this file, the good file, has been stick to our system because we thought it's good 7 days ago. But today, after we patched the system, we found out that, no, this file is bad. And normally what we do, we focus on the file that is bad, we mark it. If we still did the same file onwards, we block it. But typically, in the traditional security system, what has passed is passed. You forget. That means 7 days ago, if the file slipped through, the malware file slipped through, the system is blind to it. But our solution focus on the trajectory as well. Meaning to say that even though a good file is known to our system, we will continuously monitor those files in case those files turn out to be bad, because it triggers some application, it triggers some unwanted noise in the network. We're able to track and tells you that, yes, 7 days ago, we have actually transferred this file to 5 machines in your network, having this IP address, having this username, having this operating system, having this in their platform, whether it's mobile, when it's laptop, when it's on server. These are the visibility that we need to combat for the advanced threat today. So where the intelligence coming from? It came from the group of researchers, the high technology in place, including the products, system, security forum, ecosystem. The more data we get from the internet will improve security measures. Why? Whoever sees more threats over the internet will have more capabilities to detect and mitigate. As simple as that, right? We have seen the attack before. We should be able to block it faster than the rest. That is the idea. But not to forget, with all this data, what actually lies from this research team called Telos, it's actually the researchers alone. We have more than 250 researchers just focused on the internet trends today. I'm not talking about the researchers who produce the product. The researchers just find out what is the latest trends today, okay, how to mitigate them, how to provide the new code to overcome all these attacks. The researchers alone is more than 250 and is growing very fast in our company. One more thing to remember about security. Not everything is about products and technology. It always comes with people, humans. Right? The knowledge needs to be applied to the right technology. Security is not only about product. It involves people, process, and technology. Okay, these three main components does not come from Cisco. We actually borrow it from NIST framework. right? NIST framework is actually government organization in US that come up with a standard, right, about the security best practices. We also teach. We provide classes. We provide classes for our customers, okay, for them to learn about security world. We have a module called Cyber Range. Cyber Range is actually a training module that focuses on the real cyber threat today. We divide into two groups, attacker and defender, right? So that the audience will learn how to attack and the other audience learns how to defend. And this module training doesn't stop there. After it completes, we swap. The defender now become the attacker, and the attacker now become defender. So that they learn about the real security operation task on a daily basis, so that they know, right? They know if threats happen in their environment, they know where to focus on. Not everything is about product, right? Let me take a step back, right? Take away my Cisco logo. Not everything is about product. It's about the ability to read and analyze every threat that comes into the network. There are many threats, seriously, thousands per minute. But you need to do hunting. You need to have the ability to trace what are the threats that really matters to you. What really matters to you normally refers to the successful attack. So this module focuses on that, because many trainings out there today does not simulate the real life scenario, right? This can simulate the live scenario in Security Operations Center, SOC. Right? So we also have the security products, right? The security product that covers all in the before, during, and after process of an attack. We cover this because in the real life scenario, there is no silver bullet. There is no one product that can fix all. In security, it's just impossible. Let me take a simple example. Like I mentioned earlier, let's say you have a mobile phone like this. You think that you're secure because you just connect to your campus and you trust your campus. Your campus probably has state-of-the-art security technology in the world. It has all the necessities. It complies to all security standards. Remember, compliance does not guarantee security. Let me repeat. Compliance does not guarantee security. It's only about best practices. So why I take this as example? Because of the trends today. People move in and out. The mobility part. You may get infected this from your home. You bring back to your campus and you start spreading malware around your campus. Wait a minute, what about the firewall, antivirus and things like that? Like I said earlier, APT will definitely slip through your antivirus. Right? What about your firewall with the threat intelligence and everything? The firewall does not sit in between users in your network. It only sits at the perimeter layer. This is why we need to make sure that we cover all areas in the network. Another thing about security, we need to work together. Work closely together with all systems in the network. Meaning to say that we have to work with other vendors that you have in your environment. Right? Things like intelligence that comes from the network need to be shared with the security component, and vice versa, so that you can have more intelligence information to defend your system. So, in Cisco, we keep innovating. We keep innovating and integrating with our ecosystem partners, so that you can innovate securely in yours. Remember, security today is not about something nice to have. It's not about that. It's about enabler. Without security, there's no transaction. Let me ask you a simple question. Internet banking today, right? Can internet banking transaction be done without security? You can't. Simply because of that. But then again, why the bank today is still sending you information? They're still educating their customers. Do not click on the phishing link. Do not assume that, we are sending you to reset your password and things like that. They keep doing this for years, right? Have you ever wondered why they need to educate the user? Because a lot of people make assumption is that financial system probably has the best security in place in the world. But again, there is no 100% security. If you do not secure your password, you don't secure your device, it will penetrate others as well. Remember, security has to be everywhere, and it has to be across the extended network as well. Extended network meaning to say that whatever network that links you, University A, University B, University C, as long as you have this communication, right, you need to be secure. Otherwise, if one system gets compromised, it will compromise others as well. Okay, with that, I end my presentation. I hope the information is very useful to you and enjoy the session. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Tengku Shahrizam. Do you have any questions?
Hello. I just want to ask one question. Is it security able to track the internal network that goes to deep web with the access of Bitcoin and Tor browser? Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
Is it security system is able to track the internal network that goes to deep web?
To the deep web.
Yes. With the access of Bitcoin and Tor browser.
Okay, so the question is, right, is the security solution today able to track advanced threats, things like Tor, right, P2P sharing, torrent, Bitcoins? The answer is yes and no. Right? Why I say the answer is yes and no? The thing is this. The security solution, okay, probably could only cover some areas because it has to follow certain framework. Right? But honestly today, when we talk about the technology itself, whatever application that you mentioned earlier today can be detected by next generation firewall or the next generation proxy, right? They're able to identify different kind of applications. But on the Bitcoin itself, even though you know someone using Bitcoin, you do not know where they transfer to. Like I mentioned earlier, Bitcoin is a new financial system over the internet. That is untraceable. There's no name associated with it. You do not know who is the user, who is the sender, who is the receiver. You do not know. So even though you know someone is using that, how does that information translate into the actionable item? Right? Does that answer your question? Yes, another question. I'm sorry. What performance? Penalty? Oh, okay. So we're talking about performance over security, right? To achieve the balance. Because most of the time, people think that, if you need to secure, right, it may reduce some level of performance. But today, most of the challenge is not much about performance, it's much about the convenience. If you want to secure, you have to do this. You have some extra task to work. Nevertheless, performance does impact. Okay, whenever you increase security especially do deep inspection at the application layer, definitely. But to address that, you need to do the right sizing from day one. What is the approach for the next 3 years, 5 years? You need to plan in order for you to enable decryption, as example, right? Today, most transaction over the internet is done through SSL, encryption. So the thing is, not many organizations today perform decryption. Honestly, not many. But more than 70% of the internet application today runs on SSL, right? Mainly because of the performance. So your question does valid for certain area of the network.
And just a follow-up question.
Yeah.
If we're looking at expanding our networks to 10 gigs and 100 gigs, how do these products fit into that sort of data rate space?
Okay, so when it comes to the throughput of the transaction in the network itself, right? So people concerned about it, whenever you put security, it could slow down the network, right? So this is again a challenge. Again, another part we're saying that something like a cat and mouse game, right? Whenever the network has been upgraded, the security has to be followed. It has to be that way. In most cases, no, it's a separate project, right? When that happens, it's too late. So the thing is, for the security component to support such network, right, you need to place a security solution that's able to meet that throughput requirement. But again, remember this, security not only about throughput, it's also about concurrent session, how many transactions per second and things like that. That will determine how fast or how slow a transaction is. Answer your question. Thank you. Any more questions?
All right. Thank you again, Tengku Shahrizam.